All right, let's get to thing number 3 this morning. That is Micron announcing it's cutting its workforce by about 10% in 2023, as well as suspending bonuses in the new year. That's the latest move in the slowdown that is happening across the tech industry. And of course, the particular challenge among the chip makers like Micron is the glut in chips. And for Micron specifically, which is a memory chip maker, its product is commoditized, right? So it is particularly acute for a company like this. And Micron says it's going to try and cut back on production. It's going to try and help with the glut. But the problem is it has competitors that also make chips. So unless everybody does this, it's not necessarily going to help the problem.
Yeah, I have like 8 things to say on this, Micron, but I'll try to distill it down to 4. One, of course, the 10% workforce reduction, that is a huge reduction for a company that Micron that has been, I think, touting its growth prospects throughout this year, investing in a lot of capacity, so that is not a good look. On the earnings call last night, CEO Sanjay Mehrotra noting this is the most severe industry imbalance in the past 13 years. Some of these analyst notes out this morning have been absolutely vicious. They do not see any improvement in Micron's profitability, not next year, but 2024. That is a long way from now. But again, I mentioned Mehrotra, and this is just a bad job by him, I think, throughout this year, forecasting his business. And I understand PCs have been under pressure, demand has been under pressure, supply chains have been tough, but this is a company that's served up, I believe, 5 warnings in a row, and it's just been an awful job of that team. Awful.
Yeah, and I mean, in what you were saying, and you mentioned 4 of the 8 things that you had to say, so I'll try and piggyback with the other 4 things that I think you were about to say. Number 1, that long-term compound annual growth rate that you mentioned a moment ago, and the production that comes along with it that they're going to be ramping down as well. They slowed the DRAM production ramp. They're also going to now be looking out beyond for the NAND nodes as well, slowing and delaying some of that production given the new demand outlook that they're looking at right now. And so all of that considered, you've got one on the production side. You've got a second on the employment side. They're cutting bonuses. They're suspending the 2023 bonus company-wide, in addition to that 10% staff reduction that they're making. And then they're also going to have some other operating expenses cut as well. And so where does that really hit on the ability to, when demand does come back, be able to meet that? Because now it's just a question of, all right, not just managing through the headwinds that they're facing, but then also seeing a vision towards the end of it so that they can meet that demand with some supply on the other side of this too.
And those headwinds you mentioned, Brad, they seem to be getting worse. And I love that Micron is usually the early ones to report because they offer great clues into some other industries. On the PC market, they're looking for, Micron said last night, unit volume to decline in PCs by a low to mid-single digit percentage versus 2019 next year. So PC market under pressure has me wondering about companies like an Intel or a Dell and an HP. How will they fare next year? And also calling out industrial markets that are continuing to soften in the first quarter, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, all of it very interesting, and we'll see what it does mean for the other chip makers and for the industry more broadly.